Call the meeting to order. Are there any questions or comments from the floor? Okay, so we're moving ahead. We'll go to reports, and the first thing is, but the 24-25 budget. Take it away, Nick.
Just open up the form that's in there. There's just three areas that we're looking at, which is general support budget, which includes maintenance and operations. It's kind of just combined in there, and then there's the maintenance and transportation. Both Wayne and Stephen are here, but Leah, if you just want to kind of go over step one, which is the general fund or general support budget.
Yep, the first page is the first part of the budget. It's made up of the Board of Education expenses, the central office expenses, business office expense, auditing, tax collector, insurance, legal expenses, and then, like Dr. Nick said, it does include the whole operations and maintenance budget as well. The major increases are electric expense and insurance, because we just bought that cyber liability insurance. So we put that in there for next year as well.
The rest of it is your normal yearly increase. Next page is your
First of all, are there any questions about that report?
Yeah, I have a
Yep.
question about the cybersecurity kind of thing,
Yeah.
safety net kind of thing.
Yeah, remember for the like malware and all that other stuff that we got into the consortium this year and able to get the reduced rate with all the consortium, with all the other districts in it. And everybody's getting hit with.
Yeah, I've been reading a lot about it.
Yeah, so at least we're covered for some.
Got
So, no, there's no, as we know, there's no way around it that you get stuck, you're in trouble. You're $900 in the hole in a blink. So, and schools are the number one thing being hit right now.
So the insurance covers loss,
Correct.
not hardware or preventative things, so
Yep.
it does.
Well, one of the things, the figures that blew my mind was the cost of electricity, which we're budgeting for $205,000. And I remember about 7 or 8 years ago when we had that solar project that was approved, ready to roll, it was going to provide 100% of our energy, use, and it was going to save us $80,000. So that's how much the cost of electricity has gone up in the last 7 or 8 years. It's just mind-blowing to me. But anyhow, just throwing that out there, make you depressed.
The next is the operation and maintenance budget. And pretty much what you'll see there is some increases to the electric, like we just said. I think, Leah, am I correct, we locked into some rates, right?
Yes, we're in the consortium for the electricity and the gas. So we have those set rates for, I think, 2 years that we're in that. So that won't change. So it's easier to budget going forward, at least for next year.
And we waited, and actually the rates went down quite a bit over the last 4 months, which we waited, and we were, you're taking a chance waiting, and they went down. So even with the increase, they still went down. The rest of it is just, miscellaneous things that would always kind of increase, not much. If you look at, Stephen said, upkeep of grounds is more of the paint, you said, right, Stephen? Field paint is going up. Your basic building repairs and just some extra furniture that you would always get every year anyway. Miscellaneous furniture on top of the classroom stuff. So besides your electric, there's not much of a change there. And your next is your transportation budget. And very similar, we have 5 buses this year for lease payments instead of 3. So you see a little increase there. Again, minuscule increases along the rest. The big increase you see is contractual expense for Star and Strand. If you remember, this year we thought we had 1 student taking the Star and Strand bus. We ended up having 2, but that didn't come until later. So it wasn't in the budget for this year. We have to put it into the budget for next year. You can see the cost of that on the second page. So as we always talk about, having fund balance available, you you can see what happens if 2 or 3 or 4 students who need special education services could cost you in a blink of an eye. So that's the biggest increase to that line item.
Just have a quick question, about the electric buses, where are we with that? Or is that like 2 years down, 5 years down?
Right now, they think that all indications that it will be pushed another year or 2.
Okay.
All indications right now, because all the stuff that's coming back right now, financially, the ability to do every run in some of these school districts isn't going to happen, and the legislators are pushing for an extension. So right now, Fran is working hard in terms of trying to find funding for at least one, so we can see what it would look like. But that funding includes the bus, the charging station, the installation of the charging station. It's about $540,000.
What about insurance for the transportation facility itself?
Same thing, that would go up
That
to.
would go up to.
Yeah. So it's all these additional costs that nobody.
If you have fire suppression.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the one bus we keep outside,
Mm-hmm.
so we'd have the fire suppression stuff, but we just wanted to make sure we get one bus and see what it's all about.
Mhm.
You know. But if it doesn't work out financially, meaning that we get all the subsidies and everything for it, we're not going to move forward because it's not cost prohibitive at all.
I said that you have to keep it warm in the cabin,
Yeah.
everything, right? So you shouldn't really keep it outside all year.
Not all year, but yeah, for the most part. So it's
Well, they actually
it's a huge
have
endeavor.
new technology that has warming units around the batteries so that it can be kept outside with minimum extra use of electricity.
Okay.
Things that are bad is the cost of electric buses has gone up 10%
I know.
since 2022.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that they're finding where they have gotten a few of them, that the mileage is not up to what they're rated for. So they're saying that especially in rural districts like ours, where the bus routes are a lot longer, there's some real issues that need to be looked at in terms of whether the buses can handle the additional, mileage to get the students, pick them up, and get to school. So, there's definitely a push in the legislature to have a second look at it and reconfigure the timeframe so that it's more realistic.
So we're waiting on the funding source, and I think in the next 4 months maybe, we'll probably have a
Yeah, we should know by June.
idea of what we've got. But if it's not fully funded, it's not worth going anywhere. Yeah. So anything
Because
missing?
just for the audience, just so you know, a gas or diesel school bus is about $150,000. And an electric bus is about $450,000. We're now plus 10%, so it's almost $500,000. So you can see even without the electrical upgrade that's necessary to charge them and all, talking about some significant money. And it needs to be really looked at more carefully.
Would it be more cost effective to look at a van or instead of a bus, or does that change the equation? Just to see how it works and, like that.
I think we're more in the business of buses. That's why we're looking at the bus piece. Yeah. That's all the work that has to be done on buses. We'll make sure we get that right.
We transport students in smaller vehicles right now.
Sure.
So
We'll see how the money comes back with the grants. So and the subsidies. Anything I'm missing, Wayne, in terms of your budget?
I don't believe so, unless people have questions, I can review some more if you'd like.
Pretty straightforward, except for that one Stockton Strand increase.
One thing I was very happy to see is for a change, there's a very minimal increase in fuel and oil expense, which has not been the case in the last couple of years. So.
Didn't want you to switch to
Yeah, exactly. That's a big reason behind all this. So
Okay.
that's where we are now with the current budget.
Any other questions on the budget? Okay, thank you. So we'll move ahead to well, I guess the finance committee would be basically the same thing, because all we did in the finance committee today was look at the initial budget forecast, so there's really not anything else to report. So unless somebody has somebody else to say, we'll move right along. So then take it away, Robert, with the student report.
So we had our career fair on January 12th. So people like Beach Nut, the state troopers, and the Schenectady Fire Department were there, had booths there, kind of showing the kids what they could do besides, college. And everybody enjoyed seeing that. We held it last year, and it was a success just like last year.
I'd like to just add, I actually was there, to check it out and see it, and I was very impressed with the number of vendors that were there. I mean, there was a broad range, this is just a tip of the iceberg, there was a broad range of vendors, and I think the students, I was very impressed with how enthusiastic they were, and how welcoming the vendors were, and how, encouraging they were. So I thought I was impressed. It was a very positive experience from my perspective, as an old retired guy,
Not a lot of kids like to go to college, so at least I know a lot of them don't want to, so it's definitely good to have them be able to see those different options. So we also had the midterms on the week of the January 22nd. The students said that the tests were challenging, but they were doable. We had winter ball on the 27th of January. There was a total of about over 100 kids in attendance. That's an estimate. It wasn't really a set in stone total that I could get. The students enjoyed the photo backdrop that they had and all the decorations. It was a wintry, nice theme in the cafeteria. And Ms. Simmons did a very good job kind of decorating to that theme. But they did report that they did need more food. They did end up running out of food to an extent, and they did need more food.
just don't eat so much.
Our bowling team went to the WAC tournament on the 31st of January. The boys got second place in the morning and then fourth in the afternoon. And the afternoon, if anybody doesn't know, is basically just a funner competition. The morning is more the competitive side. And the afternoon is kind of whoever can get the most pins down there. So the girls then that day got fourth in the morning and third in the afternoon. So the girls went to their sectional tournament today, and the boys will go on the 13th of February. And I just got word back that the girls got fourth place today at the sectional, so that's great to see. So the school's has our next powerlifting meet in LaSalle on 3/1. The team will be competing against several larger schools. Last year there were over 100 kids in attendance, and everyone's looking forward to the event. We will have several people competing for the very first time, so that'll be interesting to see what the results of that will be. So the powerlifting meet in January was a huge success. We won awards for overall best lifter in both male and female categories. Bryson Becker won for the males, and Colleen Lapierre won for the females. Particularly impressive considering that they both were competing against adults. So it's a very impressive
Were
show.
those adults that were still in high school, or where did the adults come from?
I don't know.
Well, all age ranges. It wasn't a school powerlifting meet. It was like a sanctioned professional powerlifting meet. So there were people everywhere from 17 to like 80, and everywhere in the middle. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So definitely an impressive course. And if you go down, you can see a picture of the boys team from the WAC meet. So you can see everybody did have a great time. And then finally, the county will be coming down on February 14th with their Save a Life initiative, where they're going to show a video on the effects of driving intoxicated to the and then after that, the students will split into groups and do multiple activities to kind of simulate that influence while driving intoxicated. So this will help inform the students about driving under the influence and stop them from doing it. So it'll be great to see the effects of that, and I'll report back once that's done in our next meeting. That'll be it.
Any more questions? I just had one other thing that in this area that you didn't cover. We've had the cell phone policy in effect now for half a school year, and I was just wondering how is it going from your perspective?
I do think a lot of kids are still they are still annoyed by it. For one reason or another, I know I do monthly surveys to kind of get the kids' opinions on various different things, and at the end I kind of have an area where they can say if they have a random question. So if I'm talking about after school activities and they have a random question like, hey, why did this policy happen, or why did this happen? They can put it there, and a lot of them are saying, hey, what happened with the phone thing? Why are we still? What was the next step after that petition that happened? So it's still in their minds, but overall, I think we've had a very impressive, showing if the kid's kind of following the rule and kind of, following it to a point where it's acceptable and every party is kind of happy. So I know the freshmen are kind of the most annoyed by it, and seniors because they've kind of gone through their lives in high school without the rule. But the middle ground there, the 11th and 10th are kind of more accepting of it. So yeah, they're doing pretty good with it, I would say.
I mean, one of the, aside from the academic purpose, one of the things we were looking at was a social interaction, benefit of not having cell phones out all the time. Have you seen any increase in that?
It's a little harder because in the classroom you do have a lot of social activity, but I feel like before that you had a lot of social activity before the bill because our teachers are very good at putting up, group activities to instigate the whole class to kind of learn. But it's harder again for me because I kind of take more different accelerated classes, so it's harder for me to see the other end of that. So from what I've seen, before this bill they were kind of already in, but it's kind of hard because I've seen a lot of kids at lunch because that's when they were allowed to use it. They kind of take their cell phones out because that's the one time they're allowed to use it. So it's kind of having an inverse effect in a way. Like I'll sit around at lunch and I'll look around and I see a lot of them on their phones. That might be because they're freshmen. There might be other underlying factors there, but it's an odd number that's more than last year that were on their phones. So it's interesting to see. But I think as we go through, I think the kids will get used to it as they keep going over their years and kind of socialize more.
Anyone else? All right, thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
Okay, moving right along, we have the superintendent's update.
Just a couple of things I want to do a shout out to Todd Jones. I want to just publicly thank him again for being back for the third time, helping us out, or it's like coming back to help us out. Over 1,000 teachers in New York State who are retirees who came back and filled positions. And publicly just want to thank both of them because they kind of saved us in positions. Robert alluded to the second place for the swimming team, but also a shout out to two sectional champions in wrestling, which is Austin Horner and Alex Smith, won the sectional championship, and we had two second place, Aiden Barham and Christian Burke, and we had a third and a fourth as well. So we did very well at wrestling. We have the state qualifiers this week, and swimming goes into sectionals next week, and we have a number of kids who qualified there as well. So it should be interesting to see the swimming next week for the most part. And we're full-fledged into our second semester already, and off and running, and a lot of stuff coming up in terms of concerts, plays. Before we blink, we'll be into award ceremonies. So things are moving pretty fast, and I think it was a good first half of the year. It went fast. So that's about it for me.
Okay, just one thing I would ask is that you keep us fully informed about the activities that are going on so that we have the opportunity when we can to participate. Sure. Thank you. Okay, so we will move on to discussion of tuition rate, 24-25.
We mentioned this last month. We felt like it hasn't been a deterrent for anyone. This will be our third year, I think, going on this. And my recommendation is to keep it because it allows us to kind of at least keep people honest in terms of being here. So, and we've been creative. We've come up with plans for people, that type of stuff, if they hadn't come up with it from the first day. So.
Okay. And moving right along to approvals, I would ask for a motion for a consent agenda.
Motion for consent agenda?
Second, Heidi, all in favor? Thank you. Okay, so we'll start with the minutes from the January 11th meeting. Any questions there? Okay, moving right along, budget transfers, anything there? Okay, how about bills? This is a rare moment when I will not have a question. How do you like that?
Hurry up, next question.
Okay, treasurer's report, and I won't say anything there either, so there. Set tuition rate and readopt policy 7131.
This is our annual. Yeah, we just, it's in the policy to reapprove it every year.
And then we have policy 6119 for workplace violence prevention that we discussed last time, and this is the second reading.
Yep.
Any questions or new thoughts about that?
That's a statement straight from the state and from our lawyers.
And then, the policy 7515 about lice, any questions on that one? Okay, Palatine Nursing Home Transfer Agreement, that's us as a safe spot for if
Yep.
we need it.
Our annual agreement with them.
Four Winds Saratoga, anything new with that? And the agreement with Fort Plain Central School District, you wanna talk about that next?
They had a student, couldn't speak English in the services, they could not find anyone. We happened to have a opening, with Mr. Watt, and it worked out, schedule-wise, so we're able to help them out. And this is just a tuition bill for it.
Okay, anything there? Good. Okay, moving on to the calendar, any questions on the calendar? Any
Nothing
issues?
too crazy there, it's just another, we have another, holiday next year that was built in. So that extended the school year another day, until the Thursday of the last, week of June. So really that was really the only change. The rest of it was still the Wednesday before Thanksgiving off. We had an extra day for Friday before Memorial Day, which in some ways is good because I think everybody on the table here has been around when you had to pull a day from April break, which is a nightmare. This, we can pull from the Memorial Day weekend if we went over snow days, you know what I mean? So you have 3 weeks in advance to let people know at least, as opposed to, you might get to April break, and that Friday before April break, say, by the way, you gotta come back the following Friday because we have a snow day for Friday. So besides that, that's really the only difference next year. And Labor Day starts a little earlier next year, but that's just the way Labor Day falls.
Okay, any questions there? Okay, then we have two recommendations for a, athletic placement. One is from Lindsay Hodge for a very talented eighth grade student that she would like to move up to JV. And the other one, I forgot who it's from, but it's for a student to move up into volleyball JV. And in both cases, the recommendation says that they are more than qualified and talented to make that move, and that they feel that if they stay at a lower level, they'll be way over their top. So any questions on either of those? Okay. And we'll go to the ESSER and ARP funds.
This is the exact language that New York State needs, typically some of the ARPA funds to do windows, correct? Windows in part of our capital project, but we use some of the ARPA funds for that. They fit the criteria for the ARPA funds, but the state wants this exact language to say how we're approving those funds for the Board of Education level. So they've been earmarked for the last year and a half. It's just not that verbiage.
Okay, and any questions there? Thank you. And then we have a merger study, which is to approve the merger study for a possible merger with Fort Benning. And we discussed that.
If we approve it tonight, myself, Dr. Ziskin, Lauren Goldman, the superintendent, and Aaron Morris, our lawyers, will meet next Friday to look at the RFP and to put an RFP out. And once the RFP is out, whatever we get back, we'll then discuss what we have for people who put in for it. So this is just as we talked about, the approval to move forward with a merger study.
Just so everyone knows, the RFP is just trying to find somebody to do the merger study. So that's what the RFP is about. Okay, so that gets us through approvals. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. And then we'll move on to personnel. Would anyone like to make a motion for consent agenda on personnel? Patty?
Yeah.
Second. Keith, okay, thank you. All in favor? Okay, so we'll start with a resignation of student mentor.
Just, one of the teachers who just had a lot kind of going
Well,
on.
first student left,
Yeah,
and then, there was a connection there, so another, teacher we added another student, so it just was a flip, a little bit of agreement.
didn't want to continue, right?
So in effect, we have the same number of mentors, just different name.
Exactly.
Same students.
Okay, thank you. Appoint a mentor,
Same.
that's just, you just referred. Okay. Resignation of an advisor, that would be Troy Whitaker. And the esports advisor, my question is, I didn't see anyone appointed to do that, are we having any
It's still
different?
posted.
I'm sorry,
It's still posted.
still posted? Then we have, appoint advisors, this is CHIPS advisors and a SAD co-advisor. And I think Lori Schaefer she resigned from that, right? So now these are people taking over?
Kateria is gonna be in co-advisor now, but it's a big project, as we all know.
Okay, and I know there was a very positive letter of endorsement from Mr. DiPaolo.
Positive guy, what can I say?
And is there any questions on that? All right, and then we have appointing coaches. Any questions there? And finally, a substitute bus driver. Any questions there?
Keep them coming.
Okay, so with that done, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda on personnel.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. Old business, it says NISBA lobbying day, but it really is NISBA Capital Conference, which was a Zoom meeting that was held last week. Then there was a lobby day yesterday, which I attended. And what I'd like to do is just summarize a few of the things.
I wrote this down for the capital conference day.
The first thing I would like to do is, when I was at lobbying day yesterday, NISBA has these new little badges that you can wear, and I took some for each of you. And I also brought one for you.
Here we go.
All right, so I would start off with the, if you don't mind, I'll just do a summary
Yeah, of
maybe.
course.
Okay.
Yeah, this is just for you read at your leisure.
So the first thing that obviously everyone talked about was foundation aid. And the issue with foundation aid is that it was only raised 2.4% this year overall. But half of the school districts, 337 school districts, are seeing a reduction in foundation aid this year. And the 2.4% increase is in spite of a 3.8% inflation increase for the year. One of the things that Hochul did was she averaged the inflation over the last 10 years, came up with a lower figure. And that the schools that are seeing a reduction in aid, including ourselves, or a projected reduction in aid, include 10 schools of the 14 schools in our BOCES district. One of the problems with the foundation aid is that it's a measure, it's based on poverty in your area, in the school district's area. And the census that it's based on, and is still based on, is from 2000. Well, our district is a lot poorer than it was in 2000. It was poor then, we're poorer now. As is true for other districts in our area as well, and all over the state. And so it's really, it's crying for a reassessment and reconfiguration that really reflects the current climate and situation in our school districts. So that it's really a fair measure. The other thing that was talked about is this was the lowest increase in foundation aid in the last 10 years. And it is less than half of what the state education department had requested in order to meet the school's financial needs. So it's not a very happy situation for our district or other districts throughout the state even the ones that got increases did not get increases that are going to significantly address their financial needs, but just the increases in expenses that all of the districts are seeing. Let's see. Then also another thing that in the Capitol Conference, one of the things they talked about for Lobby Day was that you should come up with 3 things that you wanted to say to the legislators. And I went to see Robert Smullen, our state assemblyman, and also Neil Breslin. I didn't see either of them; they were in session, but I did speak to their staff members. And the 3 things that I stressed, one was this was the first time in anyone's memory that school funding has been reduced year to year. There's a concept called hold harmless, which means that you might not see an increase, but you should never see a decrease. Half the school districts in New York State saw a decrease this year. So one of the things that that is being pushed in the state legislature is that hold harmless should be reinstituted and enforced. And in fact, Robert Smullen was one of the people who has come out in favor of that, and as well Bill Breslin supports that as well. The other thing that obviously is a big issue for us is that the school foundation aid should be increased. It should not be the smallest amount in the last 10 years. It should be something that begins to at least address the financial needs of our school districts. And so that was the second thing that I talked about. And the third was there is a provision that if a retired teacher comes back to work and makes more than $35,000 a year, it affects their pension negatively. And that has been under an exemption for the last several years, and the request is that it be extended yet another year. And there's a lot of support for that because there's a crying need for that provision, because almost every school district that I spoke to or that I've heard about had fit positions they were having either difficulty or not being able to fill. And this allows retired teachers who are willing to come back and not have it negatively impact their pension.
Over 1,000 in New York State last year. Over 1,000.
And I'd just like to say that I thought that the Capitol Conference was very informative. There's a lot more other stuff, but I don't want to, take up a whole lot of time. But Patty, you were there as well, so do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Not really. It's all in this piece of paper. They just had 6 different groups come and talk, so from the governor's office all the way to NICET, and they all had their own little things to add, but it was pretty much the same thing you said, the increased foundation aid, but definitely the hold harmless, make sure that gets back so you don't lose that money. And also, trying to find kids that want to be teachers and then trying to find a better pathway for them to become teachers. What else was there? That literacy initiative, which is not really anything new, it's just, find out what you need to do extra, not changing anything. Grassroots advocacy, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So you can have everybody's point of view. The one thing I did notice though, the governor's office was just saying this is the highest budget, education budget they've ever had, even though the percentage isn't right. It doesn't, you have 337 schools that lost money. And then they went on to talk about, air quality, things that just don't make any sense. You're not going to be improving the life of a student that way.
And the final thing I'd like to just add is two of the panelists were the head of the Senate and Assembly Education Committees, and both of them indicated that there's a very bipartisan feeling in the legislature that this really needs to be addressed, and that it cannot, Hochul's proposals cannot be allowed to stand. So hopefully, I don't know how much, improvement we can see, but it seems like there will at least be some improvement, all of which would be helpful.
Right.
So, so that's pretty much the story. They had breakfast at the lobby day. It was very good. And I also always have enjoyed at events like this. I get to interact with a lot of other school board members from other districts, and it's always a really interesting exchange because we all have different experiences and we're doing different things. And, it's always, I find it very, very important. Good. So any questions or other comments? Okay, then, BOCES, new business, BOCES Board of Education nomination election date. Okay, well, there's two things about that. One is their date when we have to vote, which I think is April 24th. But the other thing is if we know anyone that we would like to nominate to run for the BOCES board, or if any of us would want to do such a thing, that would be something that you could raise at this point. Any ideas at this point? We have until, I think, till March 22nd or something to make nominations. So think about it if you either anyone here wants to, or if you think of anyone, they do not have to be a board member in order to serve. We can bring it up in our March meeting and make a nomination. If not, just put April 24th on your calendar, and we can probably have one of those early morning meetings, that be over very quickly and do the vote.
Would you like to schedule it?
Pardon?
So would you like to schedule it for that next meeting?
Yeah.
7:45?
Sure, that's fine. Okay, so there's no further comments on that. We need to move into executive session.
The only thing, just to let you know, there's tenure recommendations under executive. So we'll take a look at those, hand those out, March 15th next month. So you'll see, I don't think you'll have any concerns, but all the recommendations and all the evaluations are underneath your executive stuff. Okay? That's it.
Okay, well, if there's no executive session, I would have to entertain a motion to go home. Okay, well, let's do it.